Um, I was so lost in conversation, I totally forgot. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Thursday book launch. And once again, we've got an amazing featured reader. We're going to have such a good night together. My name is Malika Albrecht, and I'm the founding editor of Redheaded Stepchild. Just a reminder, we will open for submissions in August. So if you have something that's been rejected, please consider sending it to us. And we've gotten to celebrate with Amy before, and I'm super excited about this book in particular. Amy Small-McKinney is the author of 6 books of poetry. Her newest full length, and that cover, I love it. Megan Merchant, it's just gorgeous. The title of this newest book, And You Think It Ends, was released in March of 2025 by the fabulous Lyre Press. Super press. I love celebrating with Lyre. Her second full-length book of poems, Walking Towards Crane, won the Kithara Book Prize, which is Glass Lyre in 2016. Her poems have appeared in so many anthologies and a lot of the magazines that I admire so deeply. I do want to mention that her poem in 2019 titled Birthplace received special merits recognition by Comstock Review for their Muriel Craft Bailey Poetry Contest. It was judged by David Kirby. And again, in 2021 for her poem Bench, Ducks, and Inn, judged by poet Juan Felipe Herrera. Her poem Love Furious appeared in Verse Daily, and her poems have been translated into multiple different languages, including Korean and Romanian. Book reviews have appeared in journals such as Prairie Schooner, and there's some Shamala's here. Good. I'm glad she hasn't missed the start of this. One of the things I love about Amy is that she has such an interesting background. And I do want to mention that her degree in clinical neuropsychology from Drexel and also an MFA in poetry from Drew University. She resides in Philadelphia, lucky Philly, where she has taught community poetry workshops, both privately. Boy, I'm having trouble talking tonight. It's a heat stroke. Both privately and as part of conferences, and also accepts independent students. Thank you so much, Amy, for being here. And I do want you to talk about the cover. Did you reach out to Megan? I'm just curious how that came about. It's perfect.
I've known Megan for quite a while, and I've been on. She has a website with her art, and I'll get this right maybe. Anyway, and I saw this picture, this painting. I forget how she did it. It's in one of my poems. I should have planned that. Anyway, I was so moved by it. I ended up writing a long prose poem that is in the book that responds to this woman's face. And this was before my book. So when the book was coming out, I asked her if I could please use this for the cover, and of course she said yes. She's incredible as a poet and as an artist. So that's the cover. I can't, Malika, you're on
Thank you.
There you are.
Thank you. I love that backstory because I wondered, and it's even better that you have an ekphrastic poem in response to the piece before the book was even, put together. But it's such a evocative cover and it works so well with this collection. So I just wanted to ask for that. I'm so grateful that you're here and I'm super excited to have you read. Do you have a preference for seeing everybody at the same time or a spotlight? What's your preference?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think I have one. I think whatever works best for the community, I'm fine. I'm pretty flexible about things like this. I don't need to be
perfect.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Friend Courtney Bambrick is here, and what an incredible poet. Oh, maybe she'll read in the open. But anyway, just wanted to mention her, give a shout out to a great poet from the area, Philadelphia. So, I guess I have to begin. So, okay.
Yes, you're good. Welcome.
I just want.
Let's do it.
Okay. So the book is And You Think It Ends. And I am happy to give you email and send a signed copy, or you can go through Lyre Press bookstore. It's in 4 sections, and it begins with the quote from a poet, Linda Hogan, from her poem, When the Body Wishes to Speak, She Will. And the 4 sections, I don't usually do this, but I wanted to share this this title. What else to do in this time is the first section. Here is a blanket. You must choose. And then it's time, it's time, it's time. So there's an introductory poem that begins the whole book. It's kind of prosy and in sections and jumps around a little bit and doesn't have a title, but I'm going to begin with this. The enemy is fear. We think it is hate, but it is fear. Gandhi. 1. I have become a locked window or yellow leaves falling. We humans are not leaves. We are dendrites firing, axonal damage, disconnections, gravis between nerve and muscle, disquiet, then attack. 2. Purple plants shock from brick walls. Because I can't forget, I move inside my body, a black umbrella. 3. Who told me this story? A murdered body, an adjacent apartment. We come and go like cutout moons. Pay attention. 4. He followed me. Was that a gun? I still cross the street when fast shoes move behind me. Don't believe you when you say, I don't understand. In case you are wondering, I dream bullets, bodies dropping like rough rain. Between a stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. The last of human freedoms is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. Viktor Frankl. 5. I need to become one body that means both fear and faith. That space unlocked, splinter of grace. Let me walk with you, invite in fear. Place it beside belief. Cross the street toward the man with earbuds, the woman shouting, the dog that sounds like a hoot owl. Broadleaf weeds and flowers will pour onto the sidewalk, sign their names for us. Lilies, azaleas, dandelion, an unknown species we'll walk toward. And then the book begins. And it's a pretty tough first section. I can warn you of that. And it begins with a poem called Here, written after Roe v. Wade was discontinued, and there was a women's march. And the epigraph says, abortionists emphasize speed and their own protection. They often didn't use anesthesia because it took too long for women to recover from our bodies, ourselves, for the new century. How to describe fear as tracks in fresh snow, or as dogs let loose from a yard. I did not know what else to do in this time. A body remembers stiff white sheets, a long metal rod that tore into the small red shell of herself, her lips repeating something no one could hear. Torn paper written in bleach. A young girl as torn paper. The non-creature ripped out of her. Mercy a droplet, then swiped into air. I didn't even time myself now, so give me a heads up when I'm getting close, okay?
Okay, that sounds good. I'll mind the tongue.
Okay.
Keep reading. This is
The second poem in the group is called Being, and then the subtitle is Cemetery and Hotel. When you were raped, you didn't call it rape. Couldn't listen to the stones inside you cry corrosion. You wanted to believe it was love's hum. You didn't know the dead beneath their inscribed headstones were seeping into you like sap streaks disease, and you a maple that didn't know it was dying. You didn't listen to yourself tell yourself what was and wasn't, or believe your own body. Its gravel of shock, its heart mouths widening, suffocating out of water. You were young. You couldn't say it aloud until you lay like a beach dolphin on a hotel bed where a non-doctor hovered over you until the seed-shaped being inside rolled out of you, almost forgiveness. So there's a few more in this section. I feel like this one's appropriate given all the violence. Open a window for air. Notice the airlessness of bodies piled up like newspapers, the airlessness of fear, not the kind on a mountain ledge when you don't trust a body's sense of balance, rather the kind unimagined. Someone you never met will kill, has planned to kill for over a year, stockpiling ammunition that will enter abdomen, chest, or head as velocity from rifle barrel expressed in numbers as V in meters per seconds, as the bullet departs its barrel and velocity becomes zero, as in that moment you become zero. It could be any number of people. Unless you are still standing there in its general direction, it has nothing to do with you. So, well, I know that section was hard to write. I'm going to begin with the second section, and this poem is called The Girls. In a basement in the rough side of town, I hung out with tattooed boys and shared cigarettes with sullen girls. Where I lived, no long stretch of road led to the horizon. No lights at Christmas, no wreath with ribbon on a door. From our front window, I saw copies of our own, each with 8 candles, a ninth lifting the others. When my mother waited on a chair by the kitchen door, her head bobbed to one side, not sleeping, half of her with us, the other half drowning in Valium. I ran away for 3 days. Chaz's basement divided by sofas and a sliding vinyl door with accordion pleats. We dropped our books like garbage. On the other side of the room, Ricky waited on a couch to kiss me, and Chaz joked, "You're not really a Jew." I didn't blame him. What did he know of me? Our lives split in two, a scar across a neighborhood chart. My bleached yellow hair could not protect me. Still, I like to imagine I spoke up, want to remember words so badly that I'm willing to invent them. In the high school hallway, I stared into a girl who wore a camel hair coat, her blonde hair bobbing in harmony with the world. If I stared long enough, I might become her. My mother bought me the same coat in red. I never wore it. Red, not a coat of belonging. At the hospital, my mother's stomach pumped again. She returned home to us despairing, floating along her forced current. Today, what would I tell her? What can I tell any girl who wants to be someone else? Or what could I tell the girls huddled this week in bottoms of boats at the border between hope and slaughter? I love you. Here is a blanket. How am I doing? Has it been 10 minutes? Oh, I can't hear you, but I just
You're
assume.
doing great. You're doing amazing. Just keep going. Uh,
Poem
that last
beginning.
line, I love you, here is a blanket, choking.
Poem beginning with a line by Daisy Zamora. And this is from my mother, my sister, and all of the women who are my ancestors. I am looking for the women of my house. I look for them under my bed where they live to evaluate my thighs. Look for them when they take off their pearls before falling asleep. Remember them as tendrils of hair. I did not know them well. I wanted to sail to a new country, learn to shoe horses, or live in a desert where water returns when salt separated from a nearby sea. I wanted to return to modern Ukraine, mark out designs for tin tea kettles, or swim below with a dolphin close enough to read its tag. I did not want to sleep the day away. I did not want to be a faux fur coat. I did not want. I wanted to be the girl who could lift houses or solved mysteries with a flashlight. I hung a poster of a woman murdered for refusing. Traveled to Odessa to look for a grandmother who argued for Trotsky, then changed her mind. I have changed my mind. Bring them all out from under my bed. They are smaller than I imagined. They are breakable as saucers. I tell them I love them anyway. Tell them their pearls become teeth that can cut into my nightmares. I tell them I am skydiving. I sail slowly toward the body I am learning to love. I show them my body with its scars. I show them my daughter. There she is. I say she of our house. I'm going to have to close my door.
Definitely not gonna tell her when time's up.
Bob just took a very loud phone call. Okay. And finally, I'm going to read from this section, brief conversation between a dead woman and an aging woman. I never read this out loud before. Dead woman. You look like my Ukrainian mother, your great-grandmother. We all begin and end as something else. What becomes of ashes? Not asking, telling. Aging woman. I am not ready to be ashes, but look at these hands, veins like blue trees. I was once admired for my impudent hair, my breasts to show offs, legs long as an equator. Then it was easy. I have the photograph of her, eyes like furious moons. I am not. I am still beautiful. Dying woman, listen. You are a planet. I was too. Volcanic crimson-colored clouds spinning against a clock. Don't worry about what happens next. So I'm going on to the next section. You know what? I really, really want to read this first, though. And if I don't have time for the last few sections, I'll just dig a few out. For the women I will never meet, and this was written in Seattle at first. And again, I haven't really read this out loud, I don't think. Aren't you guys lucky? For the women I will never meet. How does the world swim so alone? Each of us, each woman's memories, watery and sharp all at once. I am a visitor. Learn Ballard locks replaced rapids for boats to move between Salmon Bay to Lake Union, permitting salmon to swim the staircase, return for spawning. It is not salmon, but my own body leaping into falling water. I know these streets mean nothing to me. Search for familiar houses, there can be none, not here, as though someone I love waits, as though in this gathering metropolis, even Bilhah and Zilpah, matriarchs almost left out, yes, they were enslaved, even they. I know I am not that woman picking up a gun for the first time, a teacher defending Odessa, near the neighborhood where my grandmother lived, until forced to leave for America, where she learned the polite language of pearls. Not that woman who used contraception in the likelihood of rape while crossing the southern border in search of safety to America. Not that girl in Uttar Pradesh, raped, eyes gouged, tongue cut out. Not those matriarchs who bore the future. Or am I? Are we? I am swimming toward some country or town I have never been, but know. Toward ancestor or memory or flower or shipwreck. I swear you swim beside me. Survivors, grandmothers, mothers, strangers. I think I'm going to kind of skip to the end, since I think for this next section, I'll just read one. This was written when my late husband was dying, but other things were happening in the world. What I dream about when you are in the hospital. Fabric made of eggshells at a bridal shower, and then it's not. I'm already married to you. Then my father beside me, and though his body's missing, he moves over a flame like a bridge, alive at our wedding. And banquet tables wait like surgeons, and lights dim and brighten like missiles. I try to understand how to live without you, as I try to understand, even in the dream, how the Turkish city of Gaziantep, a bomb explodes in the middle of a wedding. The video shows the bride dancing and then screaming, and then she's not. So as you see, a lot of the sections are full of my own stories, the stories of other women. Very often they're interwoven, sometimes conflated. So if I have time, I'll read from the final section, where I'm happy to say the trajectory is moves to something where I am now, which is a much more pleasant place. But it does begin with what I remember, and that was the last of the tough stuff, I think. The young man would not listen to my no in the overgrown cemetery. I cannot remember his face, remember blonde hair, not a name, not a face. Memory is the sister of winter. It pecks at me like a dark-eyed junco, a snowbird. I imagine him sitting by a window, watching his grandkids toss a ball. Does he think of me, or was I fleeting as spit? Soon the locust leaves will turn yellow, burn with injustice as winter pushes in. I don't want to become invisible. In winter, some spiders survive inside silk cocoons hidden beneath a leaf. I never saw him again. I saw his seed drown in a hotel toilet's graveyard. At 20, I refused to bear or name it. Today, I name myself seen and remembered. In winter, woodpeckers peck away at sorrow. It's time, it's time, it's time. And I apologize if that's hard for some people. I'm not making a political statement, it's personal. Do I have 5 more or 10 more? I tried 5.
Yes, you have time. Keep going.
Well, I did write something for my daughter before I go on to the end of the books is where I finally start to talk to my body and listen. But first I have to get more of her in. You are still my daughter. My body steel wool and parchment, literal and figurative, soft vowel, hard consonant. My body lavender and gunmetal gray, its long corridor leading back toward another, returning as it always does to stuffed giraffes and painted slats of wood. Though you are 31 years old, still my body hears yours, though miles away, heart in mouth, when I catch your sorrow or joy, and forget whose body I carry, mine a well-used oak table, or yours the orchid you brought to me years ago that keeps reblooming. So I'd like to read, I'm going to read 2 about to the body. I think, I think that's okay, I hope. Dear body, and this is just a lifetime of stuff, just stuff, all the negatives. I did have a broken heart syndrome, it's called after my husband died. It was just a lot. Dear body, I have spent my life fixated on your flaws, wishing you were someone else, delicate and disarming as spider's silk. Others viewed us as porcupined. It was not fury, but fear that forced me to quill you. Nearly passed down those sorrow-pointed swords, self-doubt always hungry for a new home. Now you hand me a damaged heart. A heart does not need to hide forbidden candy, does not need to consume the world in one sitting, does not compare the width of skinny legs to the span of a butt. Our heart, the size of 2 clenched fists, needs only to beat. Oh, body, is it too late to say I love you? Remember, and how can we forget those rebellious breast cells? How at first I longed to ignore them. You wouldn't let me. I welcomed in toxic warriors to quash the disease. We were both grateful. Our hearts sang, yes, sang. This weakened but stubborn heart, and our bodies almost 37 miles of vessels. How if we followed that trail, we would cross the world twice. Unless, of course, we stopped somewhere, having never seen a beach like this, or trees like that. And then we would come home, wouldn't we? And I'd like to end on a poem that begins with a quote, note title, As to me, I know of nothing else but miracles. Walt Whitman. I wake, place my feet on the blue-gray rug, move slowly toward the bathroom, the sink requiring cleaning, then notice in the mirror the miracle of aging. Then notice in my bed the miracle of you who almost didn't find me. The white forest of your chest, your thighs reminding me of baobab trees that grow without buckling, that can live for 3,000 years, can shelter up to 40 people inside the safety of its trunk. We are old and in love. And I thank the universe, thank whatever I can thank, maybe trees, maybe that cloud shaped like a basket filled with zinnias, and know There is no end to this poem. No end. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, Amy,
Thank you.
holy cow. I've never seen one line have seven, like I think it was seven people write it. And Marjorie, I think you even said that's your favorite line.
Oh, I have to see that. Oh my goodness.
Yes, I love that
Yeah,
line.
I'm
I
going.
probably have written it in the chat before at other readings. I don't know. It just
What
always
is
takes me
I
back.
don't what's the line?
Winter is the
Oh,
Free is
yeah.
the sister of. Now I've
Oh,
forgotten
memory
it,
is the sister of
but I love
winter.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we all just run and went. Well, I mean, there are a lot like that. That's why it's going to be hard to find that one line. So when I send you the chat section, you're going to be like, "Holy cow!" It's like they were copying each other. If you look at the timestamp, it's at the same time. We're all going, "What did she just say?" Oh my God.
Thank you so much.
Oh Lord, that was a gorgeous reading. And everybody, I did put the link to Lyre Press, but you can also go to Amy's website or you could reach out
You
to
can
her
even
via
give you my
email
email.
or
I'm not shy about that. So, yeah.
okay, fabulous. That's what I'll do so people can get a signed copy of this. I know people have questions about process. You may also just at this point, I just have praise. I can't even think of a question. Y'all know me. I normally have a question. I think the thing that stuns me the most, Amy, is that these are really like the especially that first couple of sections, they're hard. These are heavy things in our relationship to our bodies, and as speaking as a woman and somebody who was a rape crisis counselor, those hit hard, but there's something about the way that you approach and you work within your poem that I also find comforting at the same time. And I'm wondering if other people have that experience, that it's horror, and there's the horror of war, and there in these poems they start particular and then reach out in concentric circles and start including more and more people and more. I don't know how you do that, but I deeply admire it. And I want to say thank you for writing these difficult poems. I needed to hear them today.
The way she reads, I think, is a very calming. I had the same experience because,
Okay.
they are heavy duty, but there's a calmness in the way she presents them.
And as a listener, I trust her.
Thanks.
And I think that that's very important. And I don't know how there are certain poets that just have earned that with me. And I because it is a big trust, right? These are hard places to go. And to be in safe, good company on that journey. It's really there's something in the way that you approach your work and the images you use and the way you read that I'd go anywhere with you. I'd listen to any of them.
Thank you.
Does anybody have a question, specific question? Yeah, and the
dear.
relationship to the
We are ready
body.
to walk.
I'll ask a process question. Just
Jump in, Lauren.
yeah. So just curious about your process. I know this is your sixth book, so this is you've done quite a few of them. Like, what is the process like for you to organize a collection to this, where the time range is so long in span after having done so many other collections?
Well, there are 3 chapbooks and 3 full lengths, and but I consider chapbooks. I worked hard on my chapbooks and their books. Every book has their own experience. I wish I could say this was exactly what I do, but these poems took a long time to write, and the book was almost finished in 2017. But since 2017, I edited at least 5 other versions. and even changed the title and even changed the sections because it took me that long. Honestly, I didn't know what I was writing about yet. Like I didn't get I write and write, but I very often don't know my subject until later. I mean, I have friends who are brilliant. They plan their poems. It's a very intellectual process. Their poems are gorgeous. I don't know how they do. It's not my process. These things kind of come out, and I'm in a state of what the heck am I talking about? And when I finally realized that these poems start with the wounded body, and there are more where I talk to my own body and the body talks to me, and I thought, oh my God, that's what I'm writing about. And then I realized I kept bringing in other women, and I I mean, my last chapter was wholly about I read it for you guys, my late husband's death, but that could have poured out. But this was the hardest book I ever wrote. So when I talk about process, the first was admitting what I was writing about and listening to what the poems what they wanted to say. Like I did not want to hear them at first, like, shut up, kids. And then really understanding, get through the metaphor, get through the generalizations, get through the cliches, and go, oh my God, this is what I'm talking about. And once I could let that in, I don't know, I began to see my poems that were going towards something. I didn't even know I was doing that. Going towards loving my body. There's one where my body talks to all the women I carry inside myself. I didn't read to you. Like I had so many women living in there until they all finally said, it's enough, we're one. But this whole thing was a process. So gosh, Allie, I don't know. It's some kind of emotional process goes hand in hand with the poet who sits here trying to figure things out. I don't, yeah.
I love that you asked that question and then we got that answer, because I was thinking about one of the things that I know about the writers that are on right now is all of y'all are willing to take, huge vulnerable risk. And I think last week we were having a discussion about like fierceness and vulnerability and how often I see that in sorry, Cal, female poets. And I deeply admire that. And I was just thinking it's interesting. This group is one that I have seen, huge leaps into the abyss, and maybe not even knowing, like you said, the poem's not planned out. I'm going on this journey, but being willing to, that I think is amazing and worth the risk. I mean, what you come out the other side with, Amy, is something that speaks to so many of us. You'll see that in the chat section, like the words themselves, the way you said it.
But I have to be
Amazing.
honest, the key for me, and I'm very hard on myself, I really don't mess around with the language. Once all the stuff is out on the page, I edit and edit and edit and revise because I want to squeeze the juices out of language. I don't want to just accept the lazy word. Sometimes the
You're
word
meticulous.
sometimes the word like gorgeous is exactly what I want. It belongs in there, darn it. Sometimes you just want to say it, and you can, Eastern Europeans used to do it all the time. Say the sentimental, But I did, and the romantic. But I do squeeze a lot out of the language before I feel it's gone from sort of draft journal to poem.
Yeah. And I think that careful craft, that to me, you strike me as someone who is a perfectionist and very meticulous when you're doing the editing. And I think that's also why so many of the poems sing the way they do. In that I really enjoy. And somebody wrote "squeeze the juices out of language." Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and also the patience that I think that it takes a lot of patience to come back and return to a poem again and again and again, to make certain that it's built. I mean, you know, you're building sonic, you're also doing sonic architecture, not just descriptive. I mean, there's the way you want it to sound.
But I send poems out sometimes because I get impatient and I think I'm really old. I got to do it now or never. And I'll send them out. And sometimes I'm deeply grateful for the rejections because I go, they're right. And then I keep rewriting and rewriting. And, but I can't wait because I'm thinking, I'm not 20, you know, I'm not even 60 anymore. I mean, you know, I could keep crawling up there, guys. But it's just, I think I feel sort of, I have to do this now. But still, when it comes to the craft, yeah, right. Cindy.
Cindy, I don't know. Yeah, you keep rewriting, but that is awesome. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yes. Does anybody have any other questions about this recent book or this reading tonight?
I
Or
just
for
wanted
Amy?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Amy, I really loved your focus on the body and the presence of that. It was just so beautiful to sit through multiple poems of yours that spoke about the body, because I've never heard it written the way you write about it. Right? It's all of our memories. It's all of our many people who are inside of us, who we bring out and we share with other people. And then just the continued longevity of time. That was something that just really struck me. And I loved the last thing you said about squeezing the juices out of language. That is just, it sits so perfectly divine with me about what this moment with you has been. So thank you for that.
Thank you. And I'm grateful because I think my next book will be totally about the aging body. It's all I'm writing, and I don't know, I can't stop. So don't get sick of bodies because I think
Oh, I encourage you, because I have to say one of the lines I loved is "We are old and in love." Sorry, made me happy. Oh, that's fabulous.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
that's awesome.
And Cal, thank you for sticking it out with me. You're not the enemy. I'm so pleased you're here. It means so much to me.
Awesome. Well, we will move towards open mic. Again, Amy, thank you so very much.
Thank you, everyone.
So for open mic, I have Cindy, Allie, Marjorie, Judy, Regina, Cal, Karen, Laura, and Shamala. If I have missed anybody, say something to me. Cindy, I don't see your, oh no, I've got you very first. Never mind. Got you first, Cindy.
Okay. Now, it's very ironic what I chose to read. I knew that Amy was associated with Lyre Press, and I wanted to read from my book from Lyre Press called Habeas Corpus. It came out in 2015, but here's the funny part. It's about body parts. Every poem has a body part in it. And it's very different from your poems. This is going to sound a little flippant compared to yours. It's called Legs. It's a prose poem. All of them are prose, short prose, which is what I tend to write. Back when I was ether-eyed and doe-legged, back with my Buddha breaths and a little pastel heart, back with my unruly mop of wild weed hair, an unholy mess of wild thoughts, back when my home was the porcelain throne, back when I smelled of sea spray and foam, back when I had a quick trigger tongue, back when I was not so wound up and not so wounded, back when I'd fall down on my sweet knees and say, God bless these moon-thin legs, jackknifed and splayed, with no spider veins, my precious legs in a sordid bed.
You, Cindy. Listen, I love that you chose to read that even before. Ah, good. Check the chat section. I don't want you to miss it. Yeah, I think a lot of us are related to that. Allie, I have you next.
All right. Before I launch into my poem, I just wanted to thank Amy again for reading, and I've been trying to like clarify for myself like what it is about your poems that make them so like incredibly like precious and moving. And I do not have a definitive answer, but these are my bullet points, the things that I've been writing down, which is like this sense of storytelling and narrative. Like I feel like I'm being led in on a journey. Like there's a story for each poem. I wrote down the precise and honed language, which I think is like this yeah, that's the squeezing, the juices, the clarity. And they're also so earnest, that you just say the thing, like you just say the thing that's the hardest thing to say, the thing that is like the most heart-pinging thing to say. Like, I don't want to be invisible, like the things that we all feel. And and then there's this sense of beauty and surprise in mixed in with the pain, which I kind of think is a very Jewish trait. Like my my heritage is also like that, and I feel like there's this very there's this sort of like it's all everything all at once. Like all the emotions are in it together. Like it's joy, it's pain, it's beauty, it's humor, it's tragedy all mixed together, and I feel like there's that sense of that. Anyway, so I'm obsessed. I also have a poem about women. This is uh, uh, so there was the thing going around on TikTok about all the guys are thinking about the Roman Empire. And so I wanted to write like a feminist response to this. So here it is. This was published in the Mercy Review. All the boys are busy thinking about the Roman Empire. But none consider Julia Mesa. Granted, she was one cold sister to the emperor, but she still demanded her face be struck on coins, tried to rein in the silky sartorial preferences that could shake a dynasty from good Roman rule. They don't think of Agrippina, despite her statues. Someone had to be Nero's mother, but Rome was a place where women were a vague sort of nuisance, even if they were unrolling from carpets at Caesar's feet. If let out of the house, they would be sure to poison any plate. Better let them stick to weaving and call it a hobby. I'm having trouble giving form to footnotes, even ones that speak multiple languages. The texture of the ancient world is brittle papyrus, like trying to catch Sappho between the fragments. The women are getting lost in the drape of marble togas, deep in the folds of the folios, the roll of scrolls. And I have no Latin or Greek to find what's between the letters, exactly as the gods intended.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Go check the chat section. Oh, wow. Vague sort of nuisance. Thank you, Allie. I have Marjorie next.
Wow, I love hearing all these poems. Amy, wonderful, wonderful job. I'm going to read a poem from Seeing Things, which I talked about here. I don't think I've read this one, though, here. This is about the death rattle. Some of you may have been with somebody who's died and you've heard that death rattle. When my father died, I was the only person in my family who didn't make it in time to be with him because he was in Ohio. But I made sure that I was with my father-in-law at the end. So this is called That Sound. Respiration soaked in saliva, now pooling up between throat, airway, here, beyond. The rattle of hospice and hospital, a farewell coating muscle and cartilage, a larynx that articulates loss and love in bodies we don't want to leave yet. The way your father's clatter slowed and waited as you climbed the nursing home stairs 2 at a time to see his eyes focus, we tell ourselves, on you, his only child, both your and his breath steady, almost soundless, before death's commotion forced his lungs' deepest groan out and into that other room of grief we knew we'd walk in. Or how, betrayed by my commitment to this world's obligations, I arrived too late to hear my father's noisy exit a state away, his delayed but rattling ride to that other state of being not waiting for my good intentions. It's for the best, my sister said. But even now, regret wells up in the trachea, swells the tongue, chokes all the words I meant to say or did when we forgave each other. Or how, and not how, that stranger on YouTube recorded on her phone someone she loved, someone named Ron, whose rattling keeps her replaying the loss she breathes in and out, the heaving still the signifier of happiness lost and not replaced, but something close to respiration, eventually filling up the lungs of the daily. Like that, and not. When I sat 2 days with your father, surrogate for mine, holding hands, singing the old hymns of heart, lungs, throat, and what we held there daily of him, and would continue to replay as litany without regret or deathbed recordings, now and now and now again.
Wow.
These folks, and this is why I always say, oh, we have the best open mic. Thank you, Marjorie. Poem after poem, I always go. I don't know how this happens. Judy, I have you written next.
Lately, as last time as well, I've been rereading some of my books. So this is like 4 books back, I think, from Bird Flying Through the Banquet, which was published by Future Cycle in 2017. It's called La Place de la Cathédrale, the Cathedral Square. How present, how bountiful and complete, the cathedral in its square onto which our small hotel's windows gave, around which we made our daily promenade, in view of which we drank our café crème. The schoolgirls on spring vacation sunned and giggled under the stone harp strings, and knots of tourists closed and opened like sea anemones, their cameras flashing in the dusk like falling stars. And the bells told the bright and the lightless hours, their quarters, their halves, their 3/4. Too many days, perhaps, but boredom pleasant, and to consider reduced choices, the black or blue sweater, the gray or brown pants, petit déjeuner next door or a few doors down, where I studied the elegant French hound leashed to a lamppost, head on his paws, meditating on nothing, and imagined cultivating an animal calm. A Sabbath of dedicated space, emotions unclotted, simpler blood ran in the arteries, unimpeded by the silt of years, and the failing body stopped failing for an instant, as if it could keep gliding in the dark, the bells guiding us like bell buoys in the voyages of our sleep. So the body came in again.
Gorgeous. I mean, just gorgeous. There was something so lovely and mysterious about how that poem unfolded. I really enjoyed that. Make sure you check the chat section. I don't want you to miss what we were all raving
Thank you.
about. Regina, I have you next.
Okay, here I am. So this is a poem that I wrote in 2022. It was published in Main Street Rag. And it is entitled New Psalm of the South. And yeah. Sing of the South, a new song, one in which broken gods erected as glorious history no longer dictate hate on scrolls of promise to hearts of fear, nor feign sacrifices that offer no salvation. Sing of the South, a new song, one that does not insist on singular stories, one righteous Southern sound, one more deserving Southern face, returned Southern land, recounted plantation grace, one that does not insist on the refrains of torturous restorations of wistful old ways, still insisted upon in these new days. Sing of the South a new song, one that has learned from opened ears, careful thought, and detects drums and powerful chants, bluegrass, blues, cumbia, hip hop, rock, hallelujah harmonies, and more sounds that blend in, move out, together, apart, back again, distinctive, collective, harsh and heady, sweet, soulful beauty drifting in the air. Sing of the South a new song. In every place, may we entreat our chosen divinity and find ample space and pastures and mountains and hills and shores that every mouth and heart might fling wide and intone righteous lyrics, tying hopeful voice to a Southern earth that yearns to love all and be loved by all.
I love that. Thank you, Regina. I knew I'd heard it, but for some reason, different lines were sticking out different this time. I was like, did you edit it? But I feel like you didn't. I feel like something just resonated deeper and different timing. Awesome. Thank you guys for bringing the fire.
I'm going
Cal.
to share my screen, or nope, it's disabled. Do you want to enable it, or is that?
We can. It just takes a minute. Next time, let me know ahead of time, Cal, and I'll be glad to
Yeah, okay.
preemptively do that.
This is the first time I realized that you have to enable it. I never asked before. All right, let me see now. Does this work? Sure enough, looks like it works. Here we go.
Doesn't seem to be on my end. Anybody else?
What?
There we
Okay.
go. Just takes a minute.
We're all right now, right?
Yep.
Okay.
You're good.
It's called Mystery, and it goes like this. What, after all, is that ineffable thing we call consciousness? We're evolved to have brain chemicals that mysteriously function in their complexity for an intangible thing we call a personality, a creation that exists routinely as can be, though not having a single physical property. Do we hold this together by any conscious means? Of course not. This evanescent thing would scatter with the first breeze. But why, having no physical properties? So this personality should hold together, merely missing its cumbersome mortal physical parts. The shell that has injuries and pain, and all the worst parts of us gone. What if a thing such as memory still exists? Another thing of no physical existence. But a spiritual existence is something else. And who's to say it isn't superior? Little complex couplings of spiritual matter, missing the part, not even knowing it's very temporary. We already know that the atom is tiny bundles of energy in no way similar to the matter they together make. Einstein's spooky action at a distance could span any distance and live for any amount of time. The universe is billions of years old, and we cannot even theorize what is behind the wall of the Big Bang. Itself an energy we consider enormous compared to our familiar place. Neither can we even hypothesize what is past that wall of zero time, or what the mystery of dark matter may be, and yet we know it's there, like death in a way. Our new consciousness might find such things commonplace. It may be epistemologically superior in all things, maybe even love, a different permanent kind that lasts through all of this. We can only guess if neurons from somewhere far superior, and if neurons are from somewhere far superior. What is the medium or storage place? Maybe a personality, not being a physical entity, can last billions of years, like the remnants of the Big Bang. We'll never know until we become part of it, sensing more than physical things. And that's that. Thank you.
Thank you, Cal. Check the chat section. I don't want you to miss that. Yeah.
I will. Thank you.
It was interesting. I didn't realize this happens for me, but I'm not an auditory learner by nature. I'm a visual learner, and I can't hear and read at the same time. I know that's weird. I don't know if other people have that, but I think it's something to do with my kind of a learning disability with auditory processing. That was interesting. So having the poem to read, I realized I tuned out completely. I was reading. Yeah. Karen, I have you next.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cal.
That's funny you said that, Malika. I was having the same experience. I was like, I'm switching between trying to focus on Cal reading it and then reading the words. I'm like, what's wrong with my brain? There's so many things wrong with my brain, but I enjoyed the poem. But I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was like, what? Wait, what? Yeah, love the poem though. Okay, so this poem apparently, I believe it turned itself into a palindrome. I'm not sure. This is what it looks like on the page. And that wasn't me just being crafty. It just like did its thing, right? I'm kind of in love with it. I think it looks like a bird flying sideways. Anyway, I'm going to read it. I'm just kind of enamored with it because it had its way with me. And I do use the word feats in here, and it's not, and it's FEATS, but maybe it's not. Anyway, okay. This is Graduating Elementals. I would like to write in white ink on black paper. Use dots to connect the lines. I would like to dive out of the shadows, to stand on firm air, to toss fire onto water, to blaze a new path, to plant my feet firmly in sky, firmly to plant my feet, to blaze a new path, to toss fire onto water, to stand on firm air. Of the shadows, I would like to dive out, to connect the lines, use dots on black paper in white ink. I would like to write.
I love you so much, Karen. I do. I really enjoy the way you flip language and ideas, and to me, hearing it, I always think she had a blast writing this poem. I
Yeah,
think
this
there's
had a blast with me, I think. I don't know. This was a really weird experience.
That's awesome. Love it. Love it. Thank you for sharing it.
Thanks.
All right, guys, I have Laura and then Shamala. Those are our last two readers. If I missed somebody, let me know. Laura?
Hey, I pivoted on this because the body. This is called What to Wear. I dress for the party. Smooth silk whispers over newly softened skin and the many layers that erase and encase me. The Spanx, the pantyhose, the bra, all the corrections of my imperfections to present the version that others expect me to be. In childhood, I hated those scratchy, lace-trimmed, identical dresses my mother bought for us, matching my twin sister in pink organdy, the lace head coverings we wore to Mass each Sunday, Easter, Christmas. What show were we making anyway? By the time we left church, my twins' lace-edged bobby socks were crumpled and soiled, the bow at her waist crooked, mussed. I never knew how she managed that, confined to one place, trapped in that pew, just sitting, standing, kneeling, rinse, repeat. At home now, I wear wide-legged cotton sweatpants, soft t-shirts, sweaters, cocooned in comfort, perfectly at ease. If you come into my space, this is what you get. Take it or leave it. In the secret world of self, I wear a size 2 in sleek silk sheath dresses that skim my frame in perfect comfort. I wear 4-inch heels and I run like a gazelle. Thanks.
Thank you for choosing that one. I think that I love the poems too that are being inspired by Amy. That's fabulous. Jamala, you're our final reader.
Wow, such wonderful, wonderful poems. This is a little out of time because I guess it would be better at Christmas, but I went fishing for something I haven't read here before, and this is what popped up. So, hark, some irritated angels sing. So, this peace on earth thing depends what kind of peace we're talking about, doesn't it? There's the enforced peace of empire, with thriving stock markets, colonial trading companies, all sitting firmly on a foundation of enslaved labor, in name or in fact, or abject poverty of people the wrong side of power structures, wrong color, wrong race, wrong philosophy, whose grand great to the N is a large number of ancestors didn't take gunpowder and ruthlessness to the four corners of this earth that's meant to be round, and didn't tie a neat knot in their handkerchief, corner to corner, to claim ownership of all. Then convinced themselves this was both virtue and burden to enforce the peace, the broken, tragic pieces, levels, layers, power structures of hierarchy. Let's have no more of that peace, okay? All right? Let's have us a just peace, the kind where there is enough to go around because the world is round. Every last bit of it, every creature, creation, soul, just as important as every other. Let's have some of that peace. Or maybe even a little piece of that peace would be something to be going on with.
Oh, it's a perfect poem to end on. Shamala, I have to let you have a chance to read the comments in the chat section. And if anybody ever, doesn't get a chance to do that, you can reach out to me and I'll make sure I get a portion of the chat section so you can see it. Yeah, she had me at Irritated Angels as well. I was like, I don't know if I wrote it up there, but I was like, oh, that's got me. All right, guys. Thank you once again for a perfect Thursday. And Amy, I deeply appreciate the way you read and the poems that you chose.
Thank you so much for having me.
And everybody that read an open mic.
That's amazing.
Go
I usually
ahead.
hate
No, go ahead.
I usually hate open mics. This was remarkable. I loved this. Like I dread open mics.
I have to tell you, I am always astounded. Everybody that's been here, y'all have seen it. Our open mics are pure fire. People really bring it. And even when you're trying out new poems, I'm still like, that does not have, yes, it has the new poem smell, but it's well crafted. I deeply appreciate. I make ugly babies. I gotta let them be teenagers before. Well, actually, I shouldn't even let them out public then. I should wait till they're adults. But thank y'all again. It was good to be in your good company. And see you next week. Bye, guys.